There are some livestock that stand out from the rest for being incredibly unusual and unique. Today, we're counting down 15 of the most expensive and rare livestock in the world. Let's start with number 15, Fusaichi Pegasus the racehorse. Fusaichi Pegasus is one of the most famous thoroughbred racing horses of all. Born on April 12, 1997, this bay stallion became so well known that it would eventually become one of the most expensive to ever be sold. Fusaichi Pegasus was sired by the influential stallion Mr. Prospector out of the mare Angel Fever, making his pedigree as prestigious as his career. Speaking of the career, though relatively brief, it was nothing short of spectacular. Trained by Neil Drysdale, he made his debut as a 2-year-old in 1999. His early races gave a glimpse of his potential, but it was in 2000, at the age of 3, that he made his mark. He won the Kentucky Derby that year, becoming the first favorite to win the prestigious race, since Spectacular Bird did in 1979. This was a victory born of his incredible speed, stamina, and competitive spirit as he surged to the front in the final stretch to claim victory. Following his Kentucky Derby triumph, he was the favorite for the Preakness Stakes. However, he finished second to Red Bullet. He also competed in the Belmont Stakes, but after an underwhelming performance, his connections decided to retire him from racing, focusing instead on his future as a stud. He was then sold to Coolmore Stud for an astonishing $70 million, which was a record price for a thoroughbred stallion at the time. He would go on to sire several successful offspring, including Roman Ruler, and his bloodline continues to influence thoroughbred racing around the world to this day. Number 14, the Atina 19, the cow. Currently holding the record for being the most expensive cow ever, the Atina 19, a Nelore cow, has been famous in the Brazilian cattle breeding community. Since birth, it's shown off the traits that make this breed highly valuable: their adaptability, fertility, and beef production. What sets her apart from other cattle, though, is her extraordinary genetic value and the impact she's had on the cattle industry both in Brazil and globally. She was bred on a breeding farm known for its excellence in producing top-tier Nelore cattle. Her lineage is impeccable, tracing back to some of the most renowned and successful bloodlines in that breed. This genetic heritage has made her a sought-after cow in terms of breeding, with her offspring being highly prized for their superior traits. The Nelore breed itself is originally from India but was brought to Brazil in the late 19th century and early 20th. The breed quickly became the backbone of Brazil's beef industry due to its ability to thrive in the country's often challenging climates. She's played a pivotal role in the advancement of genetics. Her genetic material, particularly her embryos, have been in high demand both domestically and internationally. The value of her embryos has reached staggering figures, with some being sold for tens of thousands of dollars each. This high demand is due to the traits she passed on to her progeny, including excellent muscle development, fertility, and overall productivity. In June of 2024, she was taken to auction with her own bodyguard and security cameras, and amazingly was sold for $4 million, a price that was more than 3 times that of the previous record holder. Number 13, Paloa San Sebastian, the Appaloosa horse. Paloa San Sebastian is an Appaloosa horse known for his striking appearance and his remarkable athletic abilities. His unique lineage, combined with his achievements in various disciplines, has made him a standout figure in the world of Appaloosa horses, a breed that's celebrated for its spotted coat and its versatility. Born in the early 2000s, Paloa San Sebastian quickly attracted attention for his eye-catching coat, which is typical of that breed. His coat features that classic spotted pattern with a rich combination of colors that set him apart from the other horses. This distinctive appearance, along with his strong conformation, made him a favorite in show rings and among breeders, seeking to enhance the beauty and athleticism of their stock. The Appaloosa breed faced near extinction in the late 19th century, but it was revived in the 20th by dedicated breeders who recognized the value and unique qualities of these horses. Today, they're celebrated, performing well in a wide range of equestrian disciplines, from show jumping and dressage to western riding and trail competitions. Paloa San Sebastian has been great in both show jumping and dressage. His athleticism and agility have been key factors in his success. His performance in these disciplines not only won him numerous accolades, but also helped to elevate the status of the Appaloosa breed within the wider equestrian community. This has, of course, led to him being one of the most sought-after and expensive sires. His offspring have inherited his striking coat patterns and athletic abilities, making them highly prized by breeders and competitors. His genetic legacy is continuing to contribute to the improvement and diversification of the Appaloosa breed, ensuring that future generations of Appaloosas will maintain the qualities that have made them so beloved. Number 12. Chris the Merino Ram. Chris the Merino Ram became an international celebrity in 2015 when he was discovered in the Australian wilderness carrying what was believed to be the heaviest fleece ever recorded. He was found near Canberra, Australia. After spending several years in the wild, he had wandered away from his flock, and without regular shearing, his fleece had grown uncontrollably large. Merino sheep, which are bred primarily for their fine wool, typically require annual shearing to maintain their health, and if left unshorn, their wool continues to grow, eventually becoming heavy, cumbersome, and dangerous for them. By the time Chris was discovered, his fleece had grown to an astonishing size, estimated to weigh around 90 pounds or over 41 kilograms. Images were soon being spread across the world, with Chris the sheep sparking both amazement and a bit of concern from people and experts. A team of shearers led by champion shearer Ian Elkins was then called in to sort the problem out. The shearing process was delicate and required great care to avoid injuring the sheep. As the wool had grown so thick and matted, it was difficult to remove. In a single session, the shearers removed over 88 pounds, setting a new world record for the heaviest fleece ever sheared from a sheep. This previous record had been just over 60 pounds or 27 kilograms, showing how unusual this was. After being sheared, Chris was taken to the care of the RSPCA, where he was given a clean bill of health despite the ordeal he had endured. His fleece was donated to the National Museum of Australia, where it remains as a reminder of his incredible story. His legacy lives on not just as a symbol of animal welfare, but also as an example of the challenges faced by animals when their needs are neglected. Number 11. Bodacious the Bull. So Bodacious the Bull is one of the most legendary bulls in the history of rodeo. Born in 1988 and raised in Longview, Texas, Bodacious quickly developed a reputation that would make him both feared and revered within the rodeo world. His sheer power, unpredictability, and notorious bucking style earned him the nickname, the world's most dangerous bull, and there aren't many who would argue with that title. Bodacious was a Charbray bull, a cross between a Charolais and a Brahman breed, known for their strength, agility, and size. Standing nearly 6 feet or 1.8 meters tall and weighing around 1,900 pounds or 860 kilograms, Bodacious was a massive animal. What really set him apart, though, was his unique bucking style. Unlike other bulls, Bodacious would launch riders high into the air, and as they began to come back down, he would bring his head back up, often catching the rider in the face. This movement, while spectacular for the spectators, made him extraordinarily dangerous for the cowboys who dared to ride him. His career in professional rodeo took off in the 1990s, and he quickly became known for his ability to throw even the most seasoned of riders in a matter of seconds. By 1992, he was named the Professional Bull Riders Bull of the Year, an honor he would claim again in '94 and '95. His reputation just kept on growing with each ride, and many of the top bull riders in the world either refused to ride him or were injured attempting to do so. Eventually, though, he became known for being too difficult to ride, and Bodacious retired from active competition in 1995. This decision was largely influenced by concerns over the bull's extreme risk to riders' safety, and despite his retirement, Bodacious remained a legendary figure in the rodeo community. He was later used for breeding, passing on those powerful genes to future generations of bulls. Number 10. Dolly the Sheep. Dolly the Sheep is one of the most famous animals in scientific history, as she was the first mammal to be cloned from an adult cell. Her birth in 1996 marked a groundbreaking moment in the field of genetics, demonstrating the possibility of cloning an entire organism from a single cell of an adult animal, which had major implications for science, ethics, and medicine. Dolly was born on July 5, 1996, at the Roslin Institute in Scotland. The successful cloning of Dolly was the culmination of years of research led by Dr. Ian Wilmot and his team, who were exploring the potential of cloning technology for agriculture and medical purposes. What made Dolly's creation revolutionary was the method used, something known as somatic cell nuclear transfer. In this process, the nucleus of a cell from an adult sheep was transferred into an egg cell that had its own nucleus removed. This egg was then stimulated to develop into an embryo, which was then implanted into a surrogate mother sheep. The somatic cell used to create Dolly came from a 6-year-old Finn Dorset sheep, making her a genetic copy or clone of that donor sheep. This was significant because until then, cloning had only been successful using embryonic cells, which have a greater potential for developing into a complete organism. Her birth was announced to the world in February 1997, and she quickly became an international sensation. Her name, Dolly, was chosen as a nod to the famous singer Dolly Parton because she was cloned from a mammary cell, and the scientists wanted a name that was a playful reference to that origin. The scientific community and the public were both fascinated and a bit concerned by the implications of Dolly's existence. On one hand, the success of cloning an adult mammal opened up new avenues for research in genetics, medicine, and agriculture. But on the other hand, it raised ethical questions about the potential for cloning other animals and the moral implications of creating life in a lab. Well, her legacy will of course live on forever as the first animal to be born by this process, an achievement that truly opened the door to numerous advancements in genetic research, including the development of cloning techniques for endangered species and the exploration of therapeutic cloning for medical purposes. Number 9. Blossom the Holstein Cow. When you pass a field full of cows, you'll usually see that they're all a similar size to one another and appear like a single herd. Sometimes, though, an individual will tower above the rest, and that's what happened with this next record-breaking animal. Blossom the Holstein Cow has gone on to hold an important place in the history of famous cows, both because of her enormous size, but also for the way she captured the hearts of people around the world. Officially recognized by the Guinness World Records as the tallest cow, Blossom's life was one of remarkable genetics, media attention, and the bond between a farmer and his animal. She was born in 2000 on a small farm in Illinois, owned by Pat Hansen. From the beginning, Blossom stood out from the other cows due to her unusual size. Holsteins, known for being the most productive dairy cows, typically reach heights of about 4.5 to 5 feet, or about 1.4 to 1.5 meters at the shoulder. However, Blossom kept on getting larger and larger, and by the time she was fully grown, she stood at an astonishing 6.5 feet, or 1.9 meters at the shoulder, making her the tallest cow ever recorded. Her size, while extraordinary, came with both advantages and some challenges. She was a gentle giant, known for her calm demeanor and friendly nature, which endeared her to those who met her. However, her large frame also meant that she wasn't suitable for milk production, which is the main reason for having Holsteins. Despite this, Pat Hansen decided to keep her, and Blossom became more of a pet and a companion than a production animal. In 2012, he contacted Guinness World Records to see if Blossom could be recognized for her impressive height, and after careful measurement, she was officially named the world's tallest cow in 2014. People were fascinated by the idea of a cow of such unusual size, and Blossom quickly became a beloved figure not just in her local community but across the world. This wasn't purely because of her size, but also her personality. She was known for her gentle nature, and the bond between them was clear, as Hansen spoke often about how much he cared for Blossom, describing her as a gentle giant and the friendliest cow you'd ever meet. Well, Blossom enjoyed a life of leisure on Hansen's farm, spending her days grazing and interacting with visitors who came to see the world's tallest cow. Number 8. Vivaldi the Dressage Horse. Vivaldi is a Dutch warm-blood stallion who became known for his talent, striking appearance, and legacy as a sire. Born in 2002, he quickly rose to prominence within the equestrian community, becoming one of the most celebrated dressage horses of his time. Vivaldi was bred in the Netherlands by A. Hendricks and was sired by Crack C, a well-known dressage stallion, out of a mare named Renat Utopia by Jazz, another legendary dressage horse. This impeccable lineage gave Vivaldi a strong genetic foundation combining the best qualities of his ancestors. Under the guidance of the Dutch rider Hans-Peter Minderhood, Vivaldi began his competitive career, quickly attracting attention for his gaits, particularly his trot, which had elasticity, rhythm, and power. His ability to perform these complex movements with ease and precision made him a standout in the dressage world. As he matured, his influence extended beyond his own performances in the arena. He became highly sought after as a sire, and his offspring have continued to dominate dressage. His progeny are known for inheriting that exceptional movement, temperament, and athleticism, making them desirable candidates for high-level dressage. Some of his most famous offspring include horses like Vitalis, Sanine, and Desperado, who have gone on to achieve significant success in international dressage. In his own competitive career, his performances have been instrumental in demonstrating the ideal characteristics of a modern dressage horse, influencing judging standards and training methods, and riders and trainers often cite Vivaldi as an example of the perfect balance between power and finesse, qualities that are essential for success at the highest levels of this sport. Moving on to number 7, Big Bill the Poland China Hog. Big Bill the Hog is one of the most famous figures in agricultural history, as he continues to hold the record for being the largest pig ever. His enormous size and weight made him a subject of fascination and a symbol of the potential for growth within the livestock breeding community, particularly in the early 20th century. Big Bill was born in the early 1920s in the town of Jackson, Tennessee. He was a Poland China, a breed that originated in the United States, and it's renowned for its large size. Poland Chinas are a crossbreed developed from several European breeds, and by the time Big Bill was born, the breed was already well established. As he grew, it became clear that he was no ordinary pig. By the time he reached maturity, he had grown to an extraordinary size, weighing in an astounding 2,552 pounds, and measuring 9 feet or over 2.5 meters long. He soon became a local celebrity, and in 1933, Big Bill's owners decided to exhibit him at Chicago World's Fair, where he was displayed as a prime example of the potential of modern livestock breeding. So there's a reason why pigs don't usually grow to these sizes though, and Big Bill found it difficult to move around on the farm on his own or to breed in order to pass on his genes. He was, though, a powerful example of the extremes that can be achieved through selective breeding and the importance of responsible animal husbandry. In the years since Big Bill's time, there's been a growing awareness of the need for balanced breeding practices that prioritize not just size and productivity, but also the overall health and welfare of the animals. Big Bill's legacy lives on as an example to the potential of animal genetics and the fascination of the record-breaking achievements in agriculture. Number 6. William Windsor, the goat. Well, you'd normally expect to find most livestock on a farm, but some individuals find themselves taking on a far more unusual role. William Billy Windsor I, for example, was not just any ordinary goat. He was a celebrated and esteemed member of the British Army, specifically the 1st Battalion, the Royal Welsh. Known affectionately as Billy, this cashmere goat had a unique and prestigious position as the regimental mascot, a role steeped in tradition. Billy Windsor I was born on June 1, 2000 in a zoo in England. Shortly after his birth, he was presented to the 1st Battalion, the Royal Welsh, in accordance with a long-standing tradition that dates back to the 18th century. The use of a goat as a military mascot within the regiment began in 1775 during the American Revolutionary War, when a wild goat wandered onto the battlefield and led the Welsh Fusiliers in a retreat from the Battle of Bunker Hill. The goat was adopted as the mascot, and since then, every Royal Welsh regiment has had a goat represent them. Billy was expected to attend all major ceremonial occasions and parades with the regiment. He wore a specially made regimental coat and silver headdress during the events and embodied the pride and tradition of the Royal Welsh. One of Billy's most notable appearances was during the Queen's Birthday Parade in 2006, an event that showcases the British Army's precision and their pageantry. His actions included refusing to march in line and trying to headbutt a drummer, leading to a disciplinary action that resulted in the reduction of rank from Lance Corporal to Fusilier, a rare and humorous instance of military discipline being applied to a goat. Well, despite his temporary demotion, he continued to serve faithfully, attending parades and other ceremonial duties. In 2009, after nearly 9 years of service, Billy Windsor was retired from his duty due to age and health concerns. His retirement was marked by a ceremony where he was given a medal to honor his service. Billy retired to Whipsnade Zoo, where he lived out his days in comfort, continuing to receive visits from members of his former regiment. Number 5. Panda the Miniature Horse. Panda the Miniature Horse is an animal whose story goes far beyond the typical role of horses in human society. Unlike most, who are often associated with riding, farming, or competitive sports, Panda's life took a very different direction as she became a guide animal for a visually impaired woman. Panda was born in the late 1990s, and like many miniature horses, she was bred to be small, standing at just around 30 inches or about 76 centimeters tall at the shoulder. Miniature horses, despite their size, still possess all the characteristics of their larger relatives, including intelligence, strength, and a gentle temperament. These traits would soon prove invaluable as Panda embarked on a journey that would change the course of her life. The story of Panda began to unfold when she was discovered by Ann Eddy, a woman with visual impairment who was seeking an alternative to the traditional guide dog. While guide dogs have been the standard for assisting the visually impaired, they're not suitable for everyone due to allergies, personal preferences, or maybe some other reasons. Anne, who had a deep love for horses, became intrigued by the possibility of having a miniature horse as a guide animal. She connected with Alexander Kurland, a well-known horse trainer specializing in clicker training, and together began training Panda for her unique role. Panda needed to learn all the skills that a guide dog would typically have, including navigating obstacles, stopping at curbs, avoiding traffic, and understanding verbal commands. Additionally, Panda had to be trained to work in environments that are not traditionally horse-friendly, such as indoor spaces, sidewalks, and public transportation. Her small size did make her suitable for those tasks, but it was her intelligence and calm demeanor that made her truly exceptional. She mastered the necessary skills and formed a strong bond with Anne, who relied on her daily guidance and companionship. Panda's role as a guide horse garnered significant attention, highlighting the potential for miniature horses to provide an alternative to guide dogs. They've got a longer lifespan than dogs, living up to 30 years, which could provide a longer-term partnership for their owners. Additionally, their calm and steady nature makes them well-suited for their role, especially in situations that might overwhelm or distract a dog. While still rare, this concept has gained traction, with more people exploring the possibility of having a miniature horse as a guide. Number 4. Snowmass Matrix Belvedere, the alpaca. Snowmass Matrix Belvedere was a Huacaya alpaca who became known for his exceptional fleece and the impact he's had on the breeding programs of alpaca farms across the world. Born in the early 2010s, he was bred by Snowmass Alpacas, one of the most respected alpaca breeding operations in the U.S. His pedigree is impeccable, tracing back to some of the most influential alpacas in the industry, including his sire, Snowmass Matrix, who was himself a legend in the alpaca world. From the moment Snowmass Matrix Belvedere was born, it was clear that he was special. His fleece was exceptional, with extreme fineness, density, and uniformity. These qualities are highly prized in that industry as they contribute to the production of high-quality alpaca fiber, which is softer, warmer, and more durable than most other natural fibers. His achievements in alpaca shows quickly garnered attention. He won numerous championships at prestigious events, where judges consistently praised his fleece quality and overall presence. As a breeding sire, his offspring have consistently inherited that superior fleece characteristic and strong conformation, making them highly desirable for breeders aiming to improve their herds. The ability of his genetics to consistently produce top-tier offspring has made him a cornerstone in many breeding programs. This is what also led to Snowmass Matrix Belvedere becoming the most valuable alpaca of all time, selling at auction for $675,000. Number 3. Double Diamond, the Texel Sheep. Double Diamond, the sheep, made headlines around the world in 2020 when he became the most expensive sheep ever sold at auction, fetching a price of £367,000 in the UK, which is the equivalent to approximately $490,000. This sale showed the value placed on superior genetics in this livestock industry, particularly within the world of sheep breeding. Born in Scotland, Double Diamond was bred by Charlie Bowden of Sportsman Flock, a well-known and highly respected breeder. Texel sheep, originally from the island of Texel off the coast of the Netherlands, are known for their exceptional meat quality, muscular build, and lean carcasses. These traits make these sheep highly sought after in the sheep breeding industry, especially in countries like the UK, where lamb is a staple of the agricultural sector. From an early age, Double Diamond showcased exceptional conformation with muscular build, perfect bone structure, and a strong presence, marking him as an elite specimen within this breed. His lineage, too, is impeccable, tracing back to some of the most successful and influential Texel bloodlines. The record-breaking auction took place in August of 2020. The event attracted intense interest from breeders across the UK and beyond. The bidding was fierce, with several high-profile breeders forming syndicates to pool their resources in hopes of securing the prized ram. In the end, Double Diamond was purchased by a consortium of breeders from the UK, including Jeff Aiken, who described the ram as the best Texel sheep he'd ever seen. Double Diamond was expected to sire lambs that would inherit his desirable traits, thereby improving the overall quality of the breed. So for breeders, the investment in such a high-caliber ram could yield significant returns through the sale of his offspring, which were expected to command high prices in their own right. Number 2. Big Star, the show-jumping horse. Big Star, a bay stallion born in 2003, was a huge name in show jumping, with a career marked by extraordinary successes, including an Olympic gold medal. Big Star was known for his prowess, but also for his partnership with British rider Nick Skelton, and together they formed one of the most formidable teams in the history of equestrian sports. Bred in the Netherlands, Big Star is a product of great breeding. His sire, Quick Star, was a highly successful show-jumping stallion known for his speed and agility. This is a strong genetic foundation, and it played a crucial role in Big Star's development into one of the sport's most outstanding competitors. His talent became evident early in his career. He showed promise as a young horse. His ability to clear jumps with ease and precision, coupled with his natural speed, made him a standout in this arena. Under Skelton's guide, Big Star's career reached new heights. The duo formed a strong bond which translated into a string of victories. Their partnership was marked by a consistent ability to perform under pressure. One of the highlights of Big Star's career came in 2012 at the London Olympics. Representing Great Britain, Big Star and Skelton was part of the team that won the gold medal in team show jumping, a historic achievement for British equestrian sports. However, it was at the 2016 Rio de Janeiro Olympics that Big Star cemented his status as one of the all-time greats. Despite facing some fierce competition and challenging conditions, Big Star and Skelton delivered a stunning performance, winning the individual gold medal in show jumping. At 58 years old, Skelton became one of the oldest Olympic champions ever, and Big Star was hailed as a hero, showcasing the height of his abilities on a world stage. Number 1. Missy the Holstein Cow. Cows are undoubtedly one of the most important types of livestock, as they're relied on around the globe for producing milk and beef, which form a huge part of the diets of millions of people. Missy the Holstein Cow holds a legendary status in the world of dairy farming and cattle breeding, and was one of the most valuable and highly acclaimed cows in history. Officially named Eastside Louisdale Gold Missy, she was born on March 13, 2006, in Canada, and quickly rose to fame. Her pedigree was second to none. She was sired by the famous bull Braydale Goldwyn, one of the most influential Holstein sires of his time. Missy's dame, Stadaconda Outside Abel, also came from a lineage of high-producing, well-conformed cows, making Missy's genetic background one of the best. Missy's fame reached its peak in 2009 and 10, when she achieved remarkable success in the show ring. She was crowned Supreme Champion at the World Dairy Expo in 2011, a prestigious title that marked her as the best of the best among thousands of competing cows. In addition to her show ring success, Missy became a highly sought-after brood cow, with her genetics in high demand all over the world. Her embryos were sold for record prices, as breeders sought to incorporate her superior traits into their herds. In 2009, Missy made headlines when she was sold at auction for a staggering $1.2 million, setting a record for the highest price ever paid for a dairy cow. Her impact on the dairy industry extends far beyond her lifetime too, though her offspring and her widespread use of her embryos in breeding programs, her genetics have contributed to the improvement of the Holstein cattle around the world. Her story also shows the economic importance of elite dairy cows in that sector. Cows like Missy represent the pinnacle of what could be achieved through selective breeding. The investment in such animals, as seen in Missy's record-breaking price, reflects the high stakes involved in dairy farming and the potential for substantial returns on investment through the sale of milk, breeding stock, and even embryos. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Thank you to our channel members.